came into contact with Christ through my best friend in elementary school named Becca. She would invite me to church with her on Sundays and just reached out to me. And so that's where I first heard about Jesus. And then she would bring me to church camp in junior high and high school, and that's where I first heard the gospel. So I first heard the gospel, like I mentioned, at church camp in junior high, and so I responded immediately, but it wasn't a true salvation because it was mostly just because all my other friends were Christians, and so I wanted to fit in, and I wanted to be like them, and so I thought that was kind of the thing to do to win their approval. And so looking back, it was definitely a process. I went to camp many times after that, and it wasn't until my junior year where I can truly say that I loved Jesus myself for my own salvation. Yeah, so like I said, my friend Becca, who first introduced me to Christ, was definitely a significant influence growing up. And then when I went to college, I went to a really solid Bible preaching, expository church in college, and they had an on-campus ministry at our college, and that was just really influential for me. Just meeting tons of Christians who are passionate about Christ, passionate to share the gospel with others, and just really love the word, and that was a huge influence. And then, of course, being at seminary with Greg, and there's just a flood of influences and just great teaching everywhere, and just people going on missions and people wanting to be in the pastorate, and just really excited ministry-minded friends. And then kind of on a side note, there's just been a few books. I think earlier in my Christian walk, a lot of books by John Piper and R.C. Sproul were really influential. And then one of my favorite books is a book called Stepping Heavenward by Elizabeth Prentice. And I love that book, and I try to read it maybe every year. I think just thinking specifically about LCF and even just more recently, just seeing the way the church has come around those who have been grieving in the recent past. And then even right now, the church is just rising up and just meeting so many needs, and that's been really neat to watch. Both LCF and just seeing other churches just really wanting to seize this opportunity to be gospel witnesses in their neighborhoods, and just that passion for revival has been really encouraging. During this specific season, which is really unique in the history of mankind, just during this outbreak, I think the nearness of God has really stood out, especially as we're isolating from others. God has been ever more near and ever more present, and just the fact that he can be that close to all of us, even as we're apart from each other, gives us all a bond of unity that is just really precious right now.
All right. Question number 3. Take 2. You want me to ask the question?
Yeah.